Small Town Breakdown. I'm Brandon Grader.
I'm Elliot Drew.
Thanks for tuning in to the number one podcast amongst people who find it's not worth the price of admission.
Oh, welcome to my life. This is my life.
We're like a free podcast, and people are like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah. Not worth it, man. Not even doing that.
Oh, fuck.
It's too expensive.
So Elliot and I are in a rare mood. It's currently about 11:30 at night on our traditional Sunday night recording time. Elliot's been here you got here actually. You were quite prompt tonight. I was quite surprised.
Very prompt.
There's been a few nights recently where you've been a little bit late, but you were very prompt at 8 o'clock tonight. We now are staring at a mostly empty 15-pack of beer in front of us. I think there's a couple left in there, and I've got one full one, and I just opened a full one. So we're doing pretty good already. We haven't even we
stopped chatting. Like I think it was somewhere around 9:30. We were like, it's been an hour and a half. We should get started.
Yeah, and then 2 hours later,
and then there was a point about 10:30. They were like, holy geez, we should get started.
Yeah, because you usually we drink a couple beer, and then you're like, okay, I got to go take a piss.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go have a smoke.
And we're going to get started.
And then we'll go. And normally that's what happens.
Yeah. But then we came in and we just we got shit to talk about. But it's not like podcast shit.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's not like we're sitting here talking about useless. We're not talking about Kardashians or anything like that.
No.
We'll save that for the show.
Yeah.
We have some other projects that we're working on, and that's what we're talking about. And we're talking because as any regular listener knows, we share kids, so we're talking about that and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got other
stuff that we don't need to talk about with you fucking people.
When did our dear listener become a fucking person?
I know.
He's a dear listener.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear listener. We appreciate your support.
Buddy. Thanks, buddy. That was just the beer talking.
Too many beers, man. Brandon's getting angry already.
So anyways, how's your week been? This past what are we in now?
It's now March.
Yeah.
It's the spring.
Did we just
today
had daylight savings?
Is the day that we turned our clocks around for the reason that we were told to.
Finally, my car time is correct.
Again?
Yeah. Took 6 months, but I'm there.
You're finally back?
No, I'm actually one of those rare people that actually knows how to set clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned how to set my mom's VCR when I was 3 or something. Mm-hmm. And it's a skill that I've been able to carry on with my entire life.
And you're like, oh, the time's wrong. Let me change it?
Yeah, so immediately, today I went into my truck and we went out with the kids. And the first thing I did was change the clock.
I woke up this morning and I walked in, and there's half of our clocks that just now, because they're all connected to the Wi-Fi's.
The Voodoo.
Yeah, the Voodoo clocks. So those just update automatically.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't have to do that. And Teresa's like, I'm like, so, and I kind of woke up this morning and it was, it was a time.
Yeah.
I hadn't got the best of sleep, so I woke up a little late.
Yeah.
It was about 9, or coming up on 9. And I walked out and I'm like, oh, it's coming up on 9 o'clock. That's a good time to get out of bed.
Yeah. That's especially on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, I had a long day yesterday. I did not have the best of sleep. So I'm like, you know what? I did wake up at my regular, 10 after 7 or whatever it is that I normally oh, it's work. No, it's not. And so I can go back to sleep.
Gotcha.
So I woke up and then I'm like, oh, okay. And so I got out and I'm like, looked at the clock and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting up. Teresa's up. There'll be coffee. I'm looking forward to that. I'm getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Stuff to do today. I got to get it done. Let's get started. So I get out of bed, but I'm not really
Are you
with
a
it.
Irish cream in the morning on weekends?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I actually, I've never been, and I can say this honestly, as much as I love drinking.
Yeah.
I've never been a morning drinker.
Really? Even when you were camping at a big festival or something?
And I will. When I go out, camping or on Christmas, I'll be like, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
But, and I say this the binge alcoholic in me
Yeah.
doesn't appreciate a morning drink.
Because you're recovering from the night before?
No, because a morning drink turns into an all-day drinking, which means that by 5 o'clock I'm sloshed.
Oh, I miss day drinking. I love day drinking.
I know.
It's my favorite form of drinking.
And there are times in life when day drinking is great, and then you're like, at 5, you're like, I'm done. I've been drinking since 9 a.m. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a very, very accurate portrayal.
yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I wasn't
You've
even
been there.
acting. That was just strictly from memory.
that was literally like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But no, I've never been much like, as I know, I've never one of these people to be like, okay, just one.
Yeah.
And just because it tastes good.
Well, yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like, okay. Bailey's in my coffee? Challenge accepted. I will drink that pot of coffee and all that bottle of Bailey's.
Nice.
And that's, and I get it. And I'm not afraid to admit that I know that I have issues with alcohol.
Okay.
I do. I have. No, I don't.
Hold on. I have to set my my therapist clock
Your therapist
so
clock?
that I can bill you accurately.
Because
Begin.
yeah, there's definitely parts of me that most probably drink too much. As we know, there's now a right amount of alcohol that you can drink. It's been standardized.
Yeah.
And we are well above that.
I would think so. Yeah.
Like, as of right now, we're alcoholics. We've
Yeah.
been here for 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, almost 4 hours.
And we've had more than our weekly allowance of beer.
What is the weekly allotment?
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
And
I don't
remember, like,
remember.
that was like a year and a half ago we
Yeah.
talked about it. But I do know, like, it was like we were shocked at how low, like, if you drink more than 3 beers in one sitting, you're an alcoholic. And we were like, that's every sitting.
Yeah.
Like, every time I have beer, I have more than 3 beer.
I'm not that kind of a drinker though. Like, when I like drinking. Obviously I love the taste of alcohol. I like drinking, but I don't like, I know people who can either have, like, if they have one, they're going to drink 15.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I can have one beer and be like, okay, well, I got other shit to do, so I got to, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I've never been one of those kind of people. But when
Those people.
yeah, those people.
What do you mean, those people?
You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. But when I do, like, when I'm like, I want to get fucking drunk, I'm going to get drunk. But I also find now is like, at like about 6 o'clock, I'm like, let's get fucking drunk tonight. Let's do it. Let's go. And then by 9:30, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. How many beer did I have? It doesn't even matter. I'm just going to bed.
I was up at 6 with the kids. Like, you start making excuses for yourself, and you're all pathetic.
Yeah.
And really, you're like talking to your wife, but
And she doesn't care because
she's like, I don't care. I was up at 6 too. Like, let's just go to sleep. And you're trying to justify your weakness. She's like, look, buddy, I married you. I know you're weak. Okay, knock it off. You're just fucking preaching to the choir now at this point, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was much like me. I said, like, there was a time when Teresa was like, honey, why don't we just go out and drink anymore? Like, we used to go out and, like, have a couple beers and, like, just the two of us and have fun. And I'm like, yeah. But every time we go out now, we go out for, like, a dinner and, like, a bottle of wine. Like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we could just stay home and drink. And I'm like,
that's expensive too.
Well, it's not, but I'm like, then we're just going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
like, I'd much rather sit down with a box of cookies.
Yeah.
We'll split a box of cookies.
Let's get a box of Thin Mints. Watch some fucking Netflix and fall asleep on the couch.
We'll fall asleep on each other. We'll wake up and go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good evening.
Yeah.
Like,
Happy Tuesday.
I like that Tuesday. That's a great Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, we'll bitch about our day, we'll have dinner, we'll split a box of Thin Mints, and we'll fall asleep watching whatever ridiculousness on TV, and then we'll wake up the next day and do it again.
Yep. Yep.
You know? I love the fact that you want to, like, you enjoy drunk me. I feel good. Because I really do feel that if you don't like drunk me, you shouldn't have married me.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of one of those things.
Well, it all
like,
depends. Like, I mean, like, if you're married to somebody and they go out and they get drunk, like, every weekend, or if they get drunk every day,
yeah,
and you don't like that, I think you're more than entitled to not like that aspect of somebody. But if they go out and get drunk, like, once a month or once every couple of months at a special occasion or something, and as long as you don't turn into a total dick when you're drunk, which I've known you for over 20 years, I know you don't turn into a dick when you're drinking.
Other times I turn into a dick.
Like when you're stone cold sober, you're fucking barely tolerable. But
that's why we have to have a couple beers before we start the show.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
stone
more
cold
like,
sober.
It's like take the edge off of your fucking annoying soberness. But like, I think if somebody goes out and as long as you're not an asshole, then I think you like, what's not to like?
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're having fun and you're not being mean and I think it's fine. Like, I know people who go out and get drunk and then they become really fucking whiny, or they're like really, like, normally in their lives when they're sober, when they're not drinking, they're like casual and cool and whatever, and then they get drunk and they're like, I don't know, nobody fucking likes me.
Oh, the emotional
like,
dam. Those people like, they're
sakes.
like, I had a beer and now the emotional dams are open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing, like, what really bugs me is I know people who get drunk and then they'll get to the point that they'll get so drunk that they halfway through a conversation they'll forget what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they'll stop making sense, and they'll be like, "Oh, whatever. I'm just a fucking idiot. Fuck. I know you think I'm an idiot." And then they start like getting down, and like on themselves, and putting words into my and like, I never fucking said you were an idiot.
Yep.
I mean, now I think you're kind of acting like one, but it doesn't mean you're not an idiot. You're just acting like an idiot right now.
Like right now, drunk you is this is not the best version of drunk you could be.
Yeah, like fucking. Like, cheer up, buddy. Like, life's not so bad. You're drunk. Like, come on.
It could be worse.
You're doing something, right? You're fucking loaded right now.
Yeah. Imagine, rather than being drinking right now, we've just been doing, like, meth.
Yeah.
You know, you would feel worse, and
you'd have a lot
like,
less
weird
teeth.
Sores on your face. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing all right.
You can tell that we've never done meth in our
Ever.
lives because our immediate only two descriptors of what happens to meth, where you lose your teeth
and you get sores on your face.
I gotta think. I mean, I'm not willing to try.
No,
but I gotta think that there's people out there that smoke meth that none of that happens to.
Of course.
Like there is heroin junkies that you do not know are heroin junkies because they're not like tweaker heroin junkies.
No,
So,
they're like, I like heroin on the weekends. I totally like, but I keep it on the down low.
yeah,
And I function.
yeah,
And there's this whole new thing about functional problems
yeah.
in the world. There are people like, I have anxiety, but I have functional anxiety.
Yeah. What is functional anxiety? Is that life?
I don't know.
That seems
I didn't
just
even
like
know.
regular life.
I was still just trying to deal with people that had anxiety, and I get that. Like, there's part of me that's like, yeah, I get that life is shitty, but life is shitty.
Yeah, but
like, and then so be like anxious about it, but at the same time, you have to live.
yeah,
And then they're like, okay, but I have anxiety, and I'm like, and I get that that's a thing. I totally. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get down on people that are like, I'm having a hard time. Because I've had a hard time.
oh yeah. You know, everybody has in their own way.
You know, like, and there's moments where I'm like, I struggle. And maybe it's not worth having a hard time. And I get that. But then you put on, like, you have to almost, and I say this, and this is a thing that I do, and I don't want to say this and be mean, but I'm like, I'm going to put on my big boy pants
Yeah.
and fucking deal, because life is not always roses and popcorn.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes you. You're not always going to win. I don't always get a medal, even though, let's be honest, I kind of deserve one. I'm not always going to get it. There are things I'm good at that other people are better at.
Yeah.
And no matter how good I get at those things, there's going to be people that are better at them.
Yeah.
But there's also things that I do fucking well that other people don't.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of things that I will never be able to do, period.
Yeah.
I've learned this last week.
Vagina model?
Rap is not one of those things.
Like
I am never going to be a rapper.
Like a musician rapper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I learned that this week.
How did you learn what? Okay.
I'm just going to say.
Let's rewind this a little bit. What happened in your life in this past week, since we did this show last week, where you had the opportunity to learn the crushing blow to your psyche
that I will
that
never
you
be
will never be a
rapper?
professional or even a slightly amateur rapper? Because you just said that you are never going to be any kind of a rapper.
So, doing a new show.
Okay.
At the theater. A lot of fun. Tons of fun. All about Shakespeare.
Okay.
But part of the show is a rap.
Gotcha.
And so they were all like, we got to rap. And it's all about Othello. Shakespeare's The Moor of Venice, for those of you who want to look it up.
Othello?
Othello.
Othello?
Othello.
Othello?
Othello. Othello.
Othello.
Yeah. There you go.
Othello.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, can you say it again?
Othello.
Othello.
As an O-fellow. As in a fellow that is O-ness. I don't know why.
So, okay. Let's back this up again. This is a pronunciation. My mind is being blown right now.
Really?
So, it's spelt Othello.
Othello.
Othello is how it is spelled.
Yes, but I say it Othello.
Why?
I don't know, because I'm English, and if you have the right accent, Othello sounds right.
All right, but you don't have that accent.
I know.
You have an annoying Canadian accent.
But
now.
my parents say it that way.
You don't live with your parents anymore.
Yeah, but
you don't have to listen, man. Okay, I'm starting the therapist clock again. Okay.
You can say Othello.
You can pronounce stuff on your own. You're a big boy now. You can pronounce things properly like the rest of us.
Thanks, man. I'm going to give myself permission to pronounce that right
now. Listen, next time you talk to your mom on her birthday, you tell her, look, Mom, I learned something a year ago when I did the podcast. Which, by the way, thanks for never listening to.
Yeah, let's be honest. We're glad.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm legitimately thanking her. I don't have to live by your rules anymore, Mom. Yeah. I know I'm 42. Okay, it took me this long to figure it out.
Yeah. So anyway.
So you had to learn about Othello. Maybe that's why. So you can't even pronounce the word right. That's why you can't rap.
Well, that
because rappers say a lot of words.
So, we were. So the part of the show, because the whole basis of the show is that three guys perform all of Shakespeare's plays in one evening.
That's a long fucking play.
No, it's actually it's not even quite 2 hours long.
Okay. Oh, so it's like little parts of the play.
They get through different shows in different ways. They perform all 16 comedies as one very short amalgamated script.
Okay.
That's actually quite hilarious and fairly true if you read the comedies. It's a really brilliant piece of writing. It's a great introduction to Shakespeare for people who want to know more. It's very entertaining for people who know something about Shakespeare. It's a great show.
Okay.
It's called The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged. Abridged. And so part of the show is that there's a
sure it's not unbridged?
No, it's
How
abridged.
are we pronouncing this?
Abridged.
Okay, so like everybody else.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like the world pronounces it. We don't need a special one for this.
Gotcha. Good, you just saved yourself $40.
Dude, I'm going to rack up a huge therapist bill before I go home.
You already have. 7 years of this bullshit. We're up, like you owe me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I had to buy a new calculator because my screen didn't hold that many zeros.
That many zeros on it?
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's the whole part of Othello.
That's what we should call our book.
Yeah.
Cheaper than therapy.
So the whole part of Othello is about a rap.
Yeah.
We do a rap because we're trying to convey the Afro-Italian condition.
Okay.
Because, of course, Othello was a black man in Venice.
Venice, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So we decided that the best way to do this is have a rap, so the three of us rap.
You don't find that patronizing?
No. It is the way to do it.
Okay.
It is a way to do it. We could have done it other ways, but that's what the script tells us to do.
Okay.
And it is very clearly meant to be three very white people.
Okay.
Attempting to rap.
Okay.
And what I discovered of the three white men in the room.
You are the whitest?
Doing this rap. I am the least conversant with the genre of music.
Okay.
B, I have no beatbox skills.
Gotcha.
Because the beat that I'm the one that's supposed to start it, so I have to lay down a beat. It consisted.
That sounds so white. Just you even saying that.
Oh yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So this is where, at this point, it begins.
I want to come and film this play just so I can put this on the internet.
I can't rap because I cannot beatbox. Which, like, let's just begin there. I just can't. So the best I could come up with was. I went Queen on the beatbox. Because
well, you've been Queen on most of your other aspects of your life. So.
This is true. But that was like, I'm like, I need like a beat. That'll do.
Fair enough.
And that's, I can pull that off.
Yeah.
I can pull off. And even that, it kind of sounds shitty, but at least I can pull it off and keep it, and it holds.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is I have to switch in between beatboxing and rapping.
Okay.
Because there's three of us, so two of us are beatboxing, one of us is rapping at any given time.
Okay.
And sometimes it's very quick. We pick it.
Is one of you going to be the hype man for the other guy who's rapping?
What's that?
Okay. All right. So let's clarify this for anybody who does not know. I am also extremely white. I'm actually whiter than you because I'm redhead. So I am like, if I didn't have freckles, I would be like painfully pale.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have the freckles that darken my skin tone.
Well, they start to like glom together to like make it look like you have a tan, but that's just a lot of freckles.
I mean, really, if I was on a beach of like orange pebbles, I'd be pretty camouflaged. Really. So a hype man is, you know how when you have like somebody's rapping and they'll be like, I don't know, I can't even think of what's a line. Okay, so there's a Cypress Hill song. You know who Cypress Hill is,
yes,
right?
Insane in the Membrane.
And so on. So there's a Cypress Hill song where one of the lines that Be Real, anyways, one of the rappers. I don't know which one it is because I only know Be Real and I don't know the other guy's name.
Okay.
One of the rappers.
That is 100% more names in Cypress Hill than I know.
That's more information than you know. So there's a line where the one guy who's rapping at the moment, he goes, I'm just like a chicken hawk hunting for a chicken. Okay. So for some reason, that's the first rap line. Like I could have picked Eminem song or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So we're gonna go with just like a chicken hawk looking for a chicken.
hunting for a chicken.
Hunting for a chicken.
I'm just like a chicken hawk hunting for a chicken. Get paranoid when I hear the clock ticking, or when I hear the clock ticking.
Okay.
So now a hype man would be the person who would be like when I get to chicken, you're going to be my hype man. You would say chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah. And it's like you put on the extra emphasis of that line.
Okay.
So that's what a hype man does. So whenever you see a rapper, like when you see Eminem performing live, there's always a couple other dudes on stage with him, but they're not actually rapping full verses. They're just being like, yeah, yo. You know, like they're throwing in that kind of stuff, and they're and they're sort of like background singers, really, but they call them the hype man.
Okay.
So like,
I understand what they do. I just didn't know that they had a name.
Yeah, that's what they call. They're called the hype man.
Okay.
So there you go.
So I guess we do that for each other, and so we had to come up with like. The other thing is that at some point in time, the people that originally did this show, they had a rap.
Okay.
But our director was like, I don't want you to listen to that. I don't want you to think about that. I want you to come up with your own rap.
Yeah, because that'll be whiter.
Well, I will say this. In this particular instance, the badder the rap, the better the laugh. Like, the whole premise of this really is that three guys that should not be rapping decide to rap this particular thing in to connect with a character just because of his color.
The color of his skin, yeah.
You know, like, we don't know if Othello liked rap. There was no rap. Maybe he was like, you know what I really like? Opera.
Yeah.
Maybe opera was the best way to discuss his condition in his day.
Yeah.
But we don't choose that because we're from modern day.
So what is his condition?
His condition is being a despised man because of his color. Because even back then, like, and although he had risen he was an excellent fighter. There's a lot of you can just. Do you really want to get into that?
I just want to know why is he upset? Why is he sad?
Othello in the play, his whole deal is he becomes extremely jealous. He has a beautiful wife. He's a general. He's risen in stature. He commands great armies.
Okay.
And he has this beautiful wife that he leaves.
Okay.
And so Iago, who's one of the greatest villains in Shakespeare, as far as I'm concerned, other people will disagree, but who hates Othello for his reasons, dramatic reasons, decides he's going to destroy him.
Yeah.
Uses his jealousy to pretend. He plants very vague things that Othello uses to decide that his wife's had an affair and kills her.
Okay.
So let's I'm gonna go with if this play is offensive, it's not offensive to black people, it's offensive to women.
Yeah.
Because he just killed his wife because she may or may not have been seeing some other dude.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Okay.
That's not
socially acceptable.
That's not a problem. It's naughty, and you're totally gonna, you shouldn't have done that, but you just kill. That's all right.
Yeah.
Because hey, she was stepping.
We'll
on
let
you.
it slide. Yeah.
But then he finds
she's the problem, not
yeah,
you.
But then he's not in trouble for that, really.
Yeah.
But then he finds out that she hadn't done anything wrong. That it was all a fallacy.
Just fake.
Just what he saw.
Fake news.
It was fake news, man. And so he ends up killing himself.
Oh.
And Iago's all like, yeah, I totally got away with it. And they're all dead because I'm a jerk. But at the same time, he gets his comeuppance too. And it's a great play. It's one of my favorites. I love Othello.
So does he die? The
Iago?
Iago yogurt guy?
No, he gets away with it.
Oh, bummer.
Which is the best part of the
what's
show.
His comeuppance? What does that mean? You just said he gets his comeuppance, didn't you?
Oh yeah, he gets thrown in jail or something like that. He doesn't get away scot-free.
Okay.
But he didn't really do anything wrong either.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point of it, is that he's like, oh, isn't that your wife's handkerchief in that guy's pocket?
Oh, gotcha.
Like, oh, I thought I saw them. Like, look at them. Aren't they talking really closely?
Yeah, gotcha.
Like, it's not...
Because he knew that Othello
would get jealous.
Was a jealous type.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. He knew him, so he used it against him.
Gotcha.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And the fact that the villain lives is kind of great in its own way.
Okay. I just realized something while you were telling that story.
What's that?
In the American military,
yeah,
they have like privates, captains, majors, all that kind of stuff. And they also have lieutenants.
Yeah.
In the Canadian military, we have privates, sergeants, captains, all that kind of stuff.
We also have lieutenants.
But we have lieutenants.
Yeah.
Is that the same reason why you pronounce it Othello?
I don't know.
Do English people not know how to pronounce T's?
Maybe.
Is that the problem?
I don't know.
I'm wondering if that's the case. I wonder if that's why it's lieutenant instead of lieutenant, and
Othello rather
Othello instead of Othello.
Othello.
Yeah. I wonder. We should look. Somebody look that up. Let us know, okay? I mean, we're not going to do it because we don't care.
If you're a linguist,
yeah. If you're a lexicographer
and you have nothing better to do with your life,
I'm just
please,
cause
contact us here at Small Town Breakdown.
I'm just curious if that's the case.
I don't know.
I wonder if there's other words that are supposed to be pronounced TH, but because we come from a British history, British upbringing, I guess we could say. I wonder if that's the case.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But again, like at some point, they were all like, the TH sounds like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
And then they were like, no, we've decided the TH sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
That's like my kids are, as they're growing older and they're expanding their vocabulary and their grammar and all that kind of stuff. They sometimes they'll be like, well, why is an orange called an orange, or why is a couch called a couch, or whatever? And I'll be like, well, because we speak English as our primary language in our house. At some point, a very long time ago, a bunch of old white dudes got together and decided that this thing shall be known as a couch. However, in England, where the English language originated, it's actually called a Chesterfield.
Yes. Or a settee.
Or a settee, which is actually a French word. Though.
Yeah, which is French.
So, but that's couch is a bad example, but that is what I explained to them, that basically every word at some point didn't exist.
Yeah.
Just like everything at some point, there wasn't, like, tables don't occur in nature naturally.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Who would have thought?
But at some point, somebody created one and was like, this shall be forever known as a glugel. And somebody's like, that's dumb. That's a stupid name. We shall call it the table. And the creator of the table was like, that's a much better idea.
Yeah.
That's a much better name. You are so much smarter than me.
Yeah, you should totally be, like, in charge of, like, telling people about my table.
Yeah.
And there was, like, hence marketing was born.
Yeah, and you can keep 15%.
Yeah.
So, but that's the whole, like, so it's kind of weird that as a person who was born in Britain and raised by British parents, that you pronounce it Othello, because I've only ever heard it as Othello, and of course lieutenant. Lieutenant I've heard of because that's what they call them in Canada.
Yeah.
Which I was always like, that's weird. There's no F's in that in that word.
There's not even a TH in that word.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange.
Like it's a hard T.
Yeah. It's definitely it's there.
Yeah.
Speaking of British, no, fuck, I lost it.
You totally
No.
like I watch you. You're like
was something
speaking of. Oh, it's so hard to
there
come
was
out
something
of my face.
that I was
going to
bring
like,
up.
you were rubbing your eyes trying to pull it out of your head.
Yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone.
So anyway, let's get back
So
to
you have to rap.
So I have to rap.
Yeah.
But now we'll bring it all the way back to this. Yeah. So there I am with my Queen beatbox, and they were all like, "Let's rap." And so I'm working with two younger gentlemen.
Yeah.
In the show, and which is really funny because they cast me as the guy that knows nothing. Like I'm the idiot savant.
Yeah.
Of the group.
Okay.
Like I'm the guy that like runs around, no clue, just having like a really good time, but dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a choice that we're gonna make, and I'm good with it. It's a lot of fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the part.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's like on stage, it's gonna look a little like I don't know. Maybe it looks great. I don't know.
Well, thing, like, I think with
it's against type for sure.
Well, yeah, but isn't that the whole point of acting? Like, do you want to be a 40-year-old white dude who knows a lot of shit about a lot of shit?
No, I'd much rather be a 20-year-old white dude, a 40-year-old white dude pling a 20-year-old white dude that knows nothing.
Yeah.
That's a lot more fun.
Well, yeah.
And so I get to, like, I get away with a lot of crap that real me would be like, don't do that.
This is dumb.
That's
You're too old for
inappropriate.
This. Yeah.
So I'm having a lot of fun with it, but the two other gentlemen
we
that
pronounce
I'm
it
working
a fellow.
yeah. Where is the F in this fellow? You have no idea. So the two other, so they have a lot more experience with rap.
Gotcha.
In general. Now,
they are probably rap fans, even.
They are, and they were talking about rap groups that, although I know they exist, I cannot say with a surety that I have listened to their music.
Well, you must have at some point.
Not necessarily, because they were talking about people. I'm like, I think I've heard of that guy. I think so. And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, we should spin the beat. I'm like, dude,
spin the beat.
I cannot spin the beat.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
That's
like, what I got.
That's what we're working with here. You
like,
better get used to it.
So they're like, okay. And the director is, of course, she is not much younger than I am, but she is younger than I am. And she was like, watching me struggle with this was a joy for her.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily blame her for that.
It will be a joy for me when I get to
I feel like
as well.
Everybody else that gets to see it is going to be like, oh, that was horrible. And I feel that mostly Elliot's to blame for that. We're like, at least they let the old guy keep up. And
oh, that was nice. They let the old senior guy play too. Oh, it's such a sweet. I love this community theater. They're so inclusive. They even let the old 40-year-old retarded dude
rap
stage.
Away.
I shouldn't say retarded. That's a mean word to say. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize.
But we're getting we met this week.
Yeah.
And that's all week. That's what we've been working on is this rap.
Okay.
All week.
It took you 4 days to.
No, it took us 2. Like it wasn't. I shouldn't say it's the only thing we're working on, but it's been the main focus of our. Like we had 3 rehearsals last week.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday we worked the scene right before. We worked and we had like the first exposure.
Okay.
On Monday, and they were like, "Okay, just get through it." So we can kind of get where you're going to be on stage really quick.
This is going to be what it's going to fucking be. So
yeah, don't worry about what it is. Let's just get you we just want exits, entrances, rough block. This you're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be here, and on and off.
Gotcha.
And kind of like we got that part of it, but we had to get through it, and then we were on and off, and then we moved on a little bit, and then they're like, tomorrow, that's what we're going to do, and then we spent a full evening, like. We got there at 7. We left there at 10. And they're like, let's rap. And I'm like, okay.
That just sounds so white.
So for 3 hours, 2.5 pages of dialogue got done over and over with beatboxing and over and over. When we left after 3.5 hours, we had basically, they were like, we haven't added any, choreography to this. but basically you have the beginnings of a horrible rap.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to be too good, so we're gonna call it that. It makes us laugh to watch you do it, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't change it.
So do you guys are you going to have towels? Like you should carry a towel while you perform this?
So we haven't even got there yet.
Oh, okay.
So we did, we just got the basics of it. So the next night we came back, we did another hour on the rap.
Gotcha.
They're like, okay, now you've slept with it for a night. Let's practice it. And we're sitting in chairs, just let's keep the beat.
Yeah.
Because after 3.5 hours, we still didn't have the beat.
Gotcha.
We didn't have it down. And we're like, does anybody want to change anything? Do you want to add it? I'm like, I'm afraid. Because every time, I got to go from beatboxing, and I'm just trying to get my timing right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can sing Broadway. I can sing some rock and roll. There's lots of things I can do. What I have learned over the course of these 3 days is I can rap. It can be done. But I'm only going to rap to the level of a kindergarten child. Me and a 5-year-old have the same ability to rap.
That's amazing.
And he can get better.
Yeah.
I can't. And not I'm putting limitations on myself, because yes, I know I'm a human being and I can do anything I can put my mind to, but I'm never going to invest that much of my life into rapping better.
Yeah.
So me and a 5-year-old have the same capacity for rap.
That's fantastic.
At this moment. And I have actually gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm okay with that. And I know I'm looking at the other two guys that are like, we could do more with this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm holding you back. And I'm okay with that because I don't want to work any harder on this.
Because I was going to say, would it be easier to just, to not just, don't make it painfully obvious that it's supposed to be the 3 worst white rappers ever on the planet that shouldn't be even attempting this, but maybe, make it more extravaganza. Instead of having you guys doing the beatboxing, actually have where you throw it up to DJ, give me a beat, and then all of a sudden you hear coming from the loudspeakers, and it's and there's lights flashing, and it's a whole thing.
I actually already went that way because I was like, that's when I first heard it. I'm like, oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
If we make this huge spectacular thing, and then everything
all 3 of you
then
still
it all
suck.
goes, and we're horrible. But our director's like, no, she's like, I want you to carry it, and I want you to suck. So casting's right.
Okay.
She has done the right thing. She's like, I found a white dude who's gonna rap shittily, and he's old, and it's gonna look ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
As
she
you do.
And I was like, I'm okay, and I'm okay with that. But this is something that this week I discovered about myself, is that I have a 5-year-old rapping capacity, and I'm okay with it.
That's all right.
Because you gotta be. There's, like I said, there's some things I do really well.
Yeah.
There are some things where, hey, there are 5-year-olds right now that I have seen that out-rap me.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There are 3-years out. They barely have comprehension of the English language, and they're better rappers than I am.
My son Henry, he has this thing where he won't eat anywhere else except for at our computer desk. Right? Every meal he eats at the computer desk. So usually while he's there, we give him screen time. We put on YouTube or whatever these games, and he'll just play while he's eating, right, or watching videos. So the other day, he was eating, and I was sitting on the couch reading, I was emailing him work stuff, and I look over, and looks like he's sort of playing the piano on the desk, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm playing the piano along with the song. And I was like, okay. And then he jumps down, and he runs over to our actual piano in the other room, and all I hear is, dun, 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 dun. And it wasn't, of course, that clear, but it was the general beat, right? And I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, I recognize that. What is that? And he comes back. I was like, buddy, what was that? And he's like, oh, that's the 21st Century Fox song. You know, when they play it at the beginning of a movie?
Yeah.
That's the song that plays. And he's like going and he takes it and he plays it on the piano. He's 4.
Yeah.
And he's picking up songs. And then today, we were driving along a little while ago. We were sitting in a parking lot at a grocery store, and the wife had run in to get a couple things. And so we're sitting in the car, and somehow we got talking about zombies, right? And
As you do.
I mean, we have young kids. It's what I know. Adults that just randomly start talking about zombies. So, anyways, we're talking about zombies and
how they're not real.
And blah blah blah. And then I had this little tune, like a little melody, got stuck in my head, and I ended up writing. Well, like right off the top of my head, I sang this little 4-line verse, essentially, of a song about zombies. So, anyways, I was like, "That's pretty funny." So I actually recorded it as a voice memo on my phone.
Yeah.
And then there's been and so then when the wife come back to the truck, they were like, play her the song. So I played her and it was a good laugh. And then there's been a couple other times they're like, oh, let's play the zombie song. So then I play it and they get a laugh and then off they go. So today we're driving down the road and Henry says to me, Daddy, play the zombie song on your phone. And I was like, well, I can't right now, buddy. I'm driving. I can't use my phone while I'm driving for safety. And he's like, okay. And then he starts singing the song and sang the entire thing. He's heard it 4 times.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's only 4 lines long, but he managed to...
He's memorized the song.
Yeah, he memorized the 4-line song. And so I think if I was to expose him to rap, he would probably be much better at it than you, is my point.
I would agree. Like I said, I have realized that my capacity for rapping is contained to Hamilton.
Yeah. Fair
Why?
enough.
Because it's on Broadway, and I've listened to it 50 billion times, and so I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that good.
Yeah.
Like, there are people like, you should audition for Hamilton. I'm like, yes, I'm going to take one of the less rappy roles.
I'll be the tree.
Yeah, I'm like, I would like one that sings more than raps. Like, I will be King George.
Okay, so I don't know. We're going to play the song.
Okay.
The zombie song.
Oh, you're going to play the zombie song?
I don't know if because I don't have the cords hooked up to my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just play it.
You're going to put it on
speaker
Okay.
to the microphone.
This is amazing. So you sang this song.
I sang this song. I wrote this song. It's called Cannibal Lunch. It's 4 lines long.
This is awesome because I do not think I have ever in my life heard a recording of you singing.
I don't think so. You have
I've heard you
I've sang
sing.
on the podcast before.
Yeah,
and in car I can rap. I know how to rap.
Yeah, and I've heard
you've heard me rapping, like driving in cars and stuff.
But I don't think I've ever heard anything you've written like. And we've sang on the podcast, but you always kind of do it with tongue in cheek.
Oh yes,
right. Like you're like, I'm singing on the podcast.
Yeah, it's very over the top.
I'm weird old lady singing.
Yeah,
right. This is going to be you actually doing something you think is worthwhile because this is something you wrote.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward
and performed
to
for now. Hopefully it'll pick up
maybe,
through the microphone.
We'll see, but I'll still hear it because I'm taking one headphone off.
Yeah, well, and if it doesn't play, I'll insert it after the fact. I'll email this to myself and insert it so that anybody listening to this will actually hear it properly.
Okay. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere of Cannibal Lunch.
Yeah.
By Brandon Grider.
Yeah.
Performed by Brandon Grider.
Okay, now let's hope this works.
First thing you do is punch the cannibal, then you have to munch the cannibal, then you have to be a cannibal, 'cause you had a cannibal lunch.
I don't know where that came from.
I want to make a cartoon based on that 4-line limerick.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And now what you don't hear because it gets cut off, but right at the very end you hear Henry because he was in his car seat right behind me. So he actually says, "I don't want to eat a zombie for lunch." That's what he says right at the very end. So
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, that was my song.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
That's going viral right now. Like this will be the one.
not.
This will be the. At this point, this will be the first time this show's like. They'll be like, "Hey, I listened to this podcast, but I really wanted to like share this thing because it's a fun cannibal song for children."
Yeah.
So I shared it, and this is what goes out everywhere. And then we're gonna have to we totally have to change tracks. We're like, we make children's books about cannibals and zombies.
Today we were driving around, and we had gone to. They have an annual what they call the Rock and Gem show.
The Rock and Jam.
There's like a. I don't know, a
We've
Rock and Gem club.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, so we went to that today. And my oldest, or my two middle girls that are in the house now. So my two girls that live in the house, because the other two oldest ones are out of the house. So the two girls that live in the house both volunteer. It's really complicated. That they both volunteer at a organization here in town. So we went to the Rock and Gem show, and then at one point we left the Rock and Gem show. They were like, "Okay, we're done looking at rocks and also gems."
As they're both one and the same.
Exactly. So they were
the
done.
Same show.
They were done looking at that. I was done asking them, with them asking me to buy them rocks, because I'm like, the entire world is rocks. Just go and find one. But anyways, so we left there, and we still had Hannah had to volunteer. Today is her shift to volunteer at the organization. So we still had 25 minutes till she had to start her shift. And I was like, well, we'll drive around. We'll drive there. We'll drop you off a couple minutes early. It's not a big deal. So we're driving around. And at one point she says, well, what are we why are we just driving around? I was like, well, we got a bunch of time to kill. So we need something, we're just drive around and kill some time. And she's like, so you're a time murderer? And I was like, that's amazing. So I started writing. I actually wrote in my head, and I started singing a song all about being a time murderer. Now, this one I did not record, and I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
But it was something to do with being a time murderer and but it was, I set it to the tune of Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Time murderer.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite like, I don't remember how it went, but it was something like that. And anyway, so they were like, because normally when I sing in the truck, they're like, you're the worst singer ever.
Except when you sing about cannibals.
When I sang songs like this, they're like, that's amazing. You should write, you should be recording these and putting them out there and selling them to kids and stuff. And I'm like, no, settle down. I mean, I wrote a song that is funny to you three people, but other than that,
love me and depend on me for your living. So
yeah, exactly.
You have to give me something.
Exactly. So, all right, let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
For Small Town Breakdown, I'm Brandon Grader.
I'm Elliot Drew.
Thanks for listening to us talk shit about shit.
I grew up in a real small town. Main streets, there was no one around. Skipping school, smoking pot in the sun. Remember days when we were young. I grew up, got a beautiful wife. I brought a son into...
This has been a Lunchbox fabrication.